All right, we'll get started. Just starting out, just finished up 2 weeks ago with our off season. The girls, had a good off season. We've got 7 returning players, and all 7 of them were healthy during the off season and got to, pretty much go through it. So got a lot of work in. They'll have a little time off, for finals. Of course, they're finishing that up, and then they'll get to go home for a little while, and then we bring them back the second summer term for July to start our summer workouts. So, got a good nucleus coming back, just like Coach Ford. I mean, pretty much my staff and everything that we're concentrating on now is recruiting. Finishing up our roster. Not going to get into specifics of where we're at, but we're getting very close. Also, we've signed 3, I think, so far this spring, and looking to probably finish up hopefully in a week or 2. We've got some visits coming up, and but just very excited about what we've got, and also what we're looking forward to bringing in. I think that the new conference that we're going into is going to be a good women's league conference. I think it's going to be a challenging league, but it reminds me a little bit of the Sun Belt when we were there. When we first was there and getting started with that league, and then what it got built up to be. I think there's going to be several good women's basketball teams in this league, and I think that helps you as a program.
When you had the chance to sit down and kind of autopsy this last season, when you look back at it, what do you feel like was the area that you needed to grow in, fix, as you start to look ahead to next year?
Well, I think, when we look back on things, there were a couple of things. One, I think we needed to learn how to take care of the ball in tough situations. And I think, we're not blaming it on a certain player or anything like that, but that's something we need to get a player that we know, hey, when we get in tough situations, they want the ball in their hand and they want to make a play. And I think that's something, that we're trying to address, and I think that was one of the big things. Definitely just more depth. Adding more depth is always good for a team, and being able to rely on, that is a big plus. So we're trying to address that also. Good question.
Obviously, with Jordan being gone now, one of the best players really in program history. Great, your top scorer last year. Just how much of an emphasis have you been put on just kind of replacing her scoring output? When you're looking at who you're bringing in.
Yeah, I mean that's the big thing on the board right now. You got to try to find somebody that's going to get those points, and I think we're looking at that. We've got a couple girls that we've already signed that are in that position, and looking forward to getting them here. But definitely we got to replace that 3-4 position that she's able to be so versatile and do things. We got to have somebody like that.
It's funny, 10 years ago, I don't think you would have said 7 or 8 returnees was, that would have been like, what's going on, in this modern, that feels like a really big core nucleus. How much does it help to have that many players that know the system, that know what's going on?
It's going to help. I think that when you're evaluating everything and getting ready for the next year, that's one of the things we talked about. I mean, the more we can bring back, I think the more it helps you. I mean, you can just look at I don't know what the percentages are, but look at the programs that are successful in this new era of recruiting. The ones that retain more players are the ones that's more successful the next year. I mean, it's just, because you got that opportunity to keep building and do things. Now, it's not going to happen every year. Every year is going to be different, with the way things are. But we're really pleased with, having the players that we got back. We got a couple of freshmen that we're bringing back that didn't get the opportunity to play last year because of injuries and things like that. So they're basically new kids too. So really 5 that got to play a lot and were a big part of the program. But we're excited about those 2 freshmen too, because they were here, but they didn't get the opportunity to play.
And then I know during the season, especially in the first half of this past season, it was a lot of all right, we're still figuring out the motion offense. We're still figuring out the motion
Oh, yeah.
offense. To have those back, is it more important for you, just given kind of how complex that offense can be, to run?
Yeah, I mean that's the issue I think a lot of times with all the transfers is that by the time they learn it, it's almost too late, because the season's getting close to the end. But having all those having all those returning players, not only do they know it, but they can do a good job of helping the other players. The more you get involved with it, because it takes a lot of communication. It takes a lot of talking with each other, and the more you have that know what they're doing out there, the better off it is.
And then as far as the new players, is there any kind of emphasis? Are you able to kind of look for people who at least maybe have some experience in a similar system?
Yeah, I mean, you look at that a little bit, but mainly you look at their skills and how they would fit into motion offense. You want players that are versatile. You want players that can do a little bit of everything, play on the perimeter. If they're a post player, that it's a big advantage for them to be able to step out on the perimeter in our motion offense, because they can step out and do things. They have that freedom to do that. They're not just stuck in the paint all the time. So, to answer your question, mainly, you look at skill set, but any experience that they have, with some type of motion offense helps.
Essentially 5 returners who really saw the court last year. Injuries, everyone's been able to go through the offseason stuff. Just what kind of jumps are you expecting from those?
Yeah, I'm expecting. I mean, like I told them, they need to be, they need to be, especially in the weight room and all the things that we work on in the off season. We need to see jumps. We need to see jumps. You need to, if you're a freshman, you're definitely going to see. I've seen, been doing this a long time. A freshman, her first year, when she comes back her sophomore year after, 2 off seasons during the summer, you ought to see a big jump. And so we're expecting that.
Can you name the 7?
The 7? Yeah. We got Brenna Burke, Maya Cotto, Pearson McVeigh, Blessing Teamer, the 2 freshmen are Rakai Nelson and Aaliyah Taylor, and then Lydia Belmonte, the Spanish girl, are the 7 that's coming back.
Speaking of Lydia, she's an interesting player just because you can see the talent that she has, really.
Yeah.
Like I said, when you're talking about scoring, she can definitely score the ball. I mean, as an international player, I guess, where can she take a big jump going into year 2?
Oh, strength. I mean, that's the thing that Lydia is very talented. Skill level, she's 6'1", she can step out on the floor, she's got good handles, but just, people just pushed her around. Defensively, she had a hard time. She wasn't really quick enough and fast enough to guard a smaller player, a guard that could really move, and then she wasn't strong enough to match up to somebody in the paint. And so, just her continuing to build her strength and, being a stronger player is going to help her, tremendously. And we're very excited about, the future for Lydia. One of the things I will add, another thing that we're really doing a lot during this offseason, working on our schedule, getting the non-conference and all that lined up. And I can tell you this, that we are going to have, and I've been here a long time, probably one of the toughest and most challenging schedules that we've had in a long time. Can't go into specifics because everything ain't finalized, but I'm really excited about it. One of the things, and want to thank Frank and our Natalie, our staff. We're getting to go to the Paradise Jam over in the U.S. Virgin Islands over Thanksgiving, which has been a big help in the recruiting trail too. Telling these players that, hey, we're going to get to spend a week over there, and we're looking forward to that. But the non-conference schedule, we try, and we've done it here for a long. We try to really challenge our team. I mean, we're going to play the best competition, and not so concerned about wins and losses during that time as you're trying to teach your players how to improve and be better and get ready for the conference season. And it's definitely going to be a challenge. I mean, we're going to have a tough schedule, and and one of the things that, and I think I learned this from Coach Foley. One of the things he just always talked about was, you can learn more from losing a game during the non-conference than you can from winning a game. I mean, if you go beat a team 30 points and then you go lose to somebody, a Power 4 school that, beats you 20 points or something, you're going to learn more from that game. And so that's some of the things that I think our team, we really preach to them about, hey, this non-conference schedule is going to get you ready. And like I said, our new conference is going to be, it's going to be tough. I'm really looking forward to it.
Speaking of Coach Foley, I remember I think 2 seasons ago, it was a similar non-conference schedule with a lot of tough SEC opponents all over the place. So I guess, how do you want to say this, like, how do you kind of balance, because I remember asking him the same question, how do you balance kind of keeping the like you said, going through those tough games, but I think they were like 1-11 to start the season.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you were, young staff, so you remember. So I was always kind of that balance of like, the players not losing their confidence versus, like I said, getting those lessons from the losses.
It's very hard. I mean, that is the thing you fight when you're playing a tough schedule like that is the team's confidence. Because that means a lot. When you're playing this game, you got to be confident. And if you're getting beat every night going out there, but we tried to, as a staff, just keep preaching to them that, hey, you're doing this for a reason. We're playing this competition is because we're trying to get you prepared for the conference season. And I know as an assistant coach, and then I heard Coach Foley tell him, during that time, I'm telling them all the time, hey, you just wait. Wait till we get there. It's going to get better. We've done it. Year after year, and really my first 2 years as, the head coach here, it's been sort of the same way. I mean, we've took some lumps during the non-conference, but once we got to conference season, things got much better. And I think that's just something that, that's a great question. Is you got to keep their confidence up. You can't beat them down. You can't beat them down and just say, hey, hey, you guys ain't very good. This is what, I mean, you got to keep picking them up during that time, but let them know that the reason you're doing this is to get prepared.
All right.
Very good. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.